Hello, everybody. Welcome back to. Oh, there's Jessica in the in the chat as well. Welcome back to Esoteric Atlanta. We are also simulcasting with the Confused Wanderer. Do me a favor, guys. If you are watching this live from Esoteric Atlanta, please make sure to subscribe to both Todd, the Confused Wanderer, and Jessica, the Cryptid Huntress, before we even get into the topic at hand today. Because as most of you know, the three of us are naughty little YouTubers, and we talk about things that sometimes the powers that be, the HR management of our world, doesn't quite like us talking about. So we've all got to help each other out. I know that I deal with banning a lot. So so I thank you guys who are here, and also for the Confused Wanderer for Todd's channel. If anytime my channel were to disappear for some reason, you can find my videos over on Todd's channel as well. So welcome, you guys. And we got a new member, Michelle Beeson, 8085. Thank you so much. Todd and I were just talking about scheduling a members only simulcast very soon. So be looking out for that, you guys. How you doing, Jessica? I'm so happy you're here.
I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for having me today. This is the first time I've done a show with you and Todd, I think.
I know. Todd used to be so afraid of the camera, and look at him now.
I know. Amazing. You are doing awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? I got to tune into your live this past week, and I was super excited to see you. Was that your first live?
No, it wasn't our first. Well, it was sort of.
First simulcast live.
Yeah, first simulcast live. But we've been doing lives with Channeling Lou. We've already done a few of those, but our faces are on the camera. It's just on the spirit board. But yeah.
Fascinating. That's fascinating with Lou, y'all. I just tuned into that for the first time in the past week. And that is that's wild.
I would love Jessica. I was actually thinking, because you guys, if you've known Jessica for a while, we all live very close to each other. We're in Georgia. We hang out in real life as well. And so I was thinking we should get Jessica on the board too, Todd, if she wants to.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah, next time we get together in the mountains, we'll definitely do it. Just really quick, you were warning me of Glassy Mountain, and the stuff that we talked with Lou about Glassy Mountain, it confirmed what you were telling me. And so, I mean,
really?
Oh my God, crazy stuff that Lou was talking about with having to do with Lake Burton and what Lake Burton really is, and that's a satanic temple, and how that whole surrounding area is being affected by Lake Burton, and how Lake Burton, basically, one thing that it does is it creates skinwalkers, and Glassy Mountain happens to be what could be considered the steeple of the satanic temple that Lake Burton is. Lou went over and talked about how basically all large fake lakes, regardless of where they are in the world, can be considered satanic temples. And so, there's blood rituals that go on with that. And then and especially like somewhere like Lake Burton, and also another close lake would be Lake Lanier. There used to be towns there, and those towns were flooded with people in the town. And so so what the water does is it sort of caps that off. And so, yeah. And then just Lou talking about some experiences I don't even really recall that I had while like being up on Glassy Mountain, and how Lou said if I ever went there again, I wouldn't survive it.
That's where you camp out, right? Is that where I went?
Yes, we went. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And Lou was saying, don't ever go there again. Like, your time there is done. And and then I don't know how much you want me to go into this. Like my last experience there, camping there, after I got done camping, I got down to my truck and I was unloading my bag on the back of the truck. And this carload of guys pulled up, and they looked really out of place. And I had a few minute conversation with them, and they drove off. And then a kid, a 20-something-year-old kid, pulled up in his motorcycle. And I had this great, like, 20-minute conversation with him, sitting on the back of my truck. We were talking, and I was like, this guy's really cool. This really weird name, but he had this interesting vibe about him. So I sat there and talked to him for 20 minutes, and then he left. And then, sometime later, we were talking to Lou. We had gotten in touch with Lou, and we were talking to Lou. And Lou told me, those people weren't even there. You completely hallucinated that. Those like that the mountain has that effect on people. And so I'm thinking I had this conversation with real flesh and blood people, but those people absolutely don't exist.
Gosh, it was like a hologram or something, or another dimension.
Yeah, I mean, I don't quite. Luke couldn't really quite explain it all to us because they weren't like ghosts. They weren't spirits. They absolutely don't exist in any world.
It was a figment of your perception.
Yeah, it was a figment of my perception being brought out by the energy of that mountain.
Wow. Because he was drawn to it. You saw, Jessica, like Todd was like drawn to Glassy Mountain like a magnet. Like
so yes. And what Lou had said is it was due to all the time I spent on Lake Burton.
Whoa.
Because I've been spending time on Lake Burton for a long time, even before I used to be married to someone whose family owns a lake house there that I would go to quite frequently. And so that's where it all started, was me being on Lake Burton so much. And that sort of drew me in to being up on the steeple, which is Glassy Mountain. It's wild stuff.
Do you know that I was just there on Sunday night? Actually, on Sunday, I drove up and I passed it. By the way, the road.
Yeah.
I passed it going to my friend's cabin. We went up there and did some Bigfooting. I took my dog. We took the dog and stuff, and we didn't go to your mountain, but I went past it about I'm going to say about 15 more minutes down the road, 15, 20 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
And that's where we did some Bigfooting, actually. That's a very active area with a lot of high strangeness, Todd.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we'll get into some of that because especially that side of
there.
Yeah, that side of 441 is where all if you want to find skinwalkers, that's where you would want to go, because they're coming from the lake.
Why am I not shocked?
Yeah.
Nothing it's so funny. I've been laughing with Lou because when we channel Lou, people ask about, stuff like twin flames and all that kind of stuff. And Lou's like, not really real. But Lou will confirm that like Bigfoot is real, skinwalkers are real. And like, it just kind of gets like, this is so fascinating though, because we've had so many crazy experiences up in Clayton. And I have learned that once you have an experience, it just kind of opens up Pandora's box for more experiences. But speaking of like skinwalkers and Bigfoot and all these, and at the end of the road that goes to Glassy Mountain, there is a very famous shop called Goats on a Roof.
Yes.
Let's talk about Goat Man today. I'd never heard of Goat Man, but nothing surprises me anymore, Jessica. It feels like there's hybrids of every animal roaming around So what is Goat Man?
Oh my gosh. Well, I've got so much to unpack today because there's a lot of different avenues we can go down when it comes to Goat Man, because goat men are one of the staples of American folklore, of local legends and lore. You name a state, I can probably find you a Goat Man's bridge in that state.
Really?
Oh,
yes. Pretty much. They like to hang out around train trestles and bridges. And that's what they're locally known for. But I have actually done some very deep digging into a place out of Southern California. It's called the Billywhack Dairy. And back in the 1920s, now I think that goat men could come from a lot of different areas. They could be summoned. They do have a connection to Baphomet, okay, and the satanic religion. But also, I mean, they could just be like, look at like Pan from Shakespeare.
I was
Midsummer Night's Dream.
Jessica, when I was looking up for the thumbnail, the first thing that hit my head was Pan. That was the first literal thing that hit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've actually, so I was asked to do a remote viewing. I was given some coordinates, a blind target, and it was on someone's property. It was an exact time, location, and date of an incident that happened. I didn't know what it was, but I had an idea that it was something that had happened somewhere. That's all I knew. But I in my remote viewing data, the word Pan came out.
Oh,
Pan.
interesting.
And I was and also a being that was furry. It was covered in brown fur and stuff. And I think horns were also in, or antlers or something were also in the data. And it turns out a friend of mine had been attacked on some property where they have Bigfoots and on some private land. And so it was interesting because he thought that he had been taken out of his tent, dragged out of his tent by ETs one night. But my data was suggesting whatever happened was done by Pan, like a goat man. And so he kind of started freaking out a little bit because he said, well, Jessica, I had just gone to a movie premiere of my friend who did a documentary on Bigfoot. And he had actually, he had put in this movie premiere, people that were watching it didn't know, but he did some kind of ritual to invoke Pan on this property. And so he said that his life had been falling apart ever since he watched that movie, that documentary. And he said, and they were summoning Pan. And then all of a sudden he starts getting attacked out in the field and what my data says, Pan, I had no idea about any of that. Right. My data said Pan. Well, fast forward to several months in the future, I get a picture that he sends of a trail camera picture off the same property of a goat man. A man who has the body, it's like a satyr. Is that how you say it? A satyr? I'm so country. I don't know how to pronounce stuff. But it's like like a man with no shirt. With like these little curved horns on each side of his head with like curly brown hair. And from the waist down, he had fur. I couldn't see his feet, but this was in a trail cam photo. They asked me to never show that to anybody. It was like a private picture. They were really upset about it. Having that on their property.
Well,
so
it's interesting because Jessica, we also have this in Greek mythology as well. And Pan from Greek mythology is not, it's quite bloody. It kind of goes back into like more of a Dionysian cult. And so as you're talking, I was like, oh my God, this has been around, this image. I think we're learning now that the more we learn, the less we know, right? So I think we're learning now that some of these Greek deities, for lack of a better word, whatever you want to call them, are probably not imaginative or mythological, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's right. Well, the earliest account that I know of a goat man, well, not one, I'm sure back in the 1800s they had goat men and stuff, but from my research, and I was given this as a blind coordinate remote viewing target. So a lot of this has to do with my remote viewing and stuff. And so when I'm given these targets and the target is revealed, I go and do a bunch of research to see how my data lines up with the facts or whatever's known about these things. And so I was given something called the Billywhack monster as a remote viewing target about a year ago. And the wildest thing is this is a goat man that has been seen, and there's a bunch of them actually, but they say there's one out of Southern California. It's located around a place called the Billywhack Dairy. And today I think ghost hunters go out there. I don't know. I don't think it's still a dairy today. It might be something else. Refurbish, reuse, I don't know, some kind of building. But it has a history that goes back to the 1920s. When a gentleman, I can't remember his name, but he came from Switzerland and he was a scientist. He worked for the OSS, which is our modern day 3-letter agency that starts with a C.
Yeah.
Okay. And he was commissioned to go there. And in the cover, I'm going to say it was a cover, was that he was raising dairy cows. And he had a prize bull that he would take around to competitions and stuff and livestock shows. And he won a lot of money. It could have been a cover for the government just to give him money, but he had this prize bull that he made him a ton of money, and he was investing it back into the dairy allegedly. But really what was going on was he had a lab underneath the dairy back in the 1920s where he was conducting human animal hybrid experiments. And that included goat men.
Yeah.
Goat men. And to this day, they have goat man sightings all around there. And of course, when you have that kind of legend, that lore in your area, that does attract people from the occult. Okay. People that do rituals and want to summon them and open portals. I don't know what these folks do. Okay. But it does attract a certain, backwoods cult kind of vibe and ghost hunters and all that. And when you're dealing with that, the rituals and stuff, it's probably just, I don't say making it worse, but like attracting more stuff. I don't know what's going on over there, but they have a lot of goat man sightings in that area to this day.
Yeah, and that was actually, and what Megan said too, this is interesting. I recently thought about this. In bullfights, the man is supposed to unalive the bull is called the matador, like the creature that's part man, part bull. So I'd never thought about that before, Megan, but that is an interesting observation to make. Where was this farm again, Jessica? Where was it located?
It's in Southern California. It's called the Billywhack Dairy, Billiwhack, I think. And actually, ultimately, what he was doing was creating super soldiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd think he came from Germany, but he came from Switzerland. Okay. And after he had this dairy, at some point he went back home to Switzerland, and very soon after he went back to Switzerland, he died mysteriously in a car accident, which was like a freak accident. So so the people assumed that he was taken out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I would not doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but hasn't Goatman existed in history even before the 1920s?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. All over. Well, we have reports. I have some reports of, like, Maryland. Maryland is very well known for their Goatman. Okay. Yeah. And also there's a place in Kentucky called the Pope Lick Bridge, where the Pope Lick monster resides. And that's underneath a Norfolk Southern railway trestle that's still in use today. And this Goatman is seen carrying an axe. And we'll talk about that, because a lot of people have died right there. Yeah. So that looks like the Billywhack area.
Yeah.
We have one of those train trestles just right down the street from where my shala is.
Oh, really?
The same company. Yeah. It's a wild place. It's just like a block away.
Do y'all want to go Goatman hunting? I'm just kidding.
Well, in Atlanta, it could just be a homeless man who hasn't shaved in a while. You never know. But guys, I'm going to show the map of where Billywhack Ranch is. It's just north of Los Angeles. You've got Santa Monica right here, which is part of Los Angeles. So it's just north for those. And the funny thing, I lived in California for a long time. The funny thing about, and so did Todd actually, before we knew each other, but I lived in Los Angeles. And the funny thing about California is, you see the picture here, most of California looks like this picture. There's only a few cities. It's mostly farmland. And so, but the fact that it's so close to Los Angeles, and it's quite near the coast as well, that's very fascinating. So if we have anybody from California, Southern California, let us know in the chat. Let us know. It seems like Goatman's, that's a modern. Do you think, Jessica, that they're trying to like bring back like Greek mythology, like the Greek gods, or bring back these, and that's what they're doing, is giving host bodies to things that existed before?
Well, I think, the schmotzies, as we like to call them, had a history of trying to harness the power of hell, in places, and using that. I just did a show recently on the Hauska Castle out in the Czech Republic, and that's the gateway to hell, with all the creatures coming out of that hole, and they actually.
I have that. I did that like one of my first episodes was that castle, and it's actually kind of scared me. Like some of these places I really want to go to, but I don't know what I would bring back with me if I came back from that location. What do you think? Because that's freaky. It's like a pit in the middle of the castle, right?
It is. Well, they built the castle around this hole. I mean, this hole goes back to the beginning of time, but the villagers around there were so terrified of this hole because creatures would come out of it sometimes, and so they called it the pit of hell or something. And so somebody built a castle around it, and they had it was built with like a fortress, like kind of keeping whatever was in that hole in that castle, and it has like an opening in the middle. And I don't think anyone, I want to say nobody really ever lived there, but they probably did. But during World War II, the schmotzies took over that castle, and they started doing these experiments over there where they were working on harnessing the power of hell there. And so, I don't know. I mean, I think that they also, they'll confiscate anything that has any kind of power like that, where there's maybe a portal to hell. Like, look at Mel's Hole. You guys are familiar with Mel's Hole out in Washington, right?
Yeah.
They confiscated that, and when that was given to me and my friend Tanya as remote viewing blind targets, remote viewing, and we're coming up with teleportation data, radiation, time travel, all this stuff. I mean, there's a lot more to these holes in the ground, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, always believe the locals, man. The locals, they can tell you what's really going. I remember one of the things I remember about Huska Castle was what was it? They took at one point, they took prisoners. This was years ago. I can't remember how long ago, but they would put them on a rope and lower them as low as they could go. And they would come up and they'd be like completely gray headed and like be crazy when it's wild. It's wild.
I think that they were allowing them to serve us, like expunge their sentence if they would just be lower down and then report back to what happened. And one person did it. And they had, I think a lot of people wanted to do it, but when they pulled that guy back up, he had aged 30 years or something.
Yeah.
And lost his mind. I think he died right after that too.
Yeah.
I remember the story. Yeah.
But in that whole area, because that's near Prague.
Mm-hmm.
You think about, that's very close to Romania. That's very close to the area of the whole Bohemian area. Has crazy Illumashmati, as we say, history with alchemists and folklore, and a lot of stuff coming from that area. And that's that's very very Yahtzee-ish, like Aryan as well. So not that has anything to do with it, but that makes sense that that's coming from that same kind of root. But anyway, so I will say here, I don't think any animal is necessarily bad. I think they just make them,
right, because I love goats. I used to milk goats.
Goats are hysterical.
Some of my friends owned a whole bunch of goats, and I used to go over there and milk a few times a week. And goats are so much fun.
Oh yeah. My sister has goats. I love goats. They are a little odd to look at though. Their eyes are weird, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But they have they're smart and they have such great personalities. And
goats are hilarious. Like, I feel bad that the bad guys of the world have like monopolized. Well, I mean, the Baphomet, they've monopolized it, because remember, darkness can't create anything, right? Only the light can create. And so the darkness takes and inverts it. But goats are hilarious. And you guys, I don't know if you know this, Jessica, in Atlanta, there's a service. I don't know what it's called. If anybody in Atlanta has, put it in the chat, where if you have a lot of if you have a lot of
privet and that
if you need like your overgrowth taken care of in your backyard, you can hire a bunch of goats. They drop them off and they just start eating your backyard. I was babysitting once for a person, and I looked in the backyard and there were all of a sudden all these goats, and I had to like call the mom and be like, "What?" She's like, "Oh no, I hired him." I was like, "Because there's a shit ton of goats in your backyard."
They come with portable fences and their whole herd of goats, and they could clean up a piece of property so fast.
They love kudzu.
Yeah, kudzu, and then the invasive species, the privet, that we have issues with, and kudzu. They'll eat that up real quick.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. Chicky Blue. Yeah, it's a symbolic association. It's not the actual goat themselves. I feel sorry for snakes as well. Like they get the bad rap, right?
I do. Well, I do have a quick little story, if you'd like for me to tell you about my goat experience, my goat headed man experience when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So this goes back to the occult and stuff, and it's not that I was in the occult, but I used to be in dance. I did ballet and tap and jazz, jazz hands when I was a kid. And so we would perform at all the local Christmas parades. I grew up in a very small town. It's a big town now, small town, Northwest Georgia. And I'm not going to name the town because I don't want to get anybody in trouble here, I don't want anybody to get mad at me. But I was a little kid, and we had a flatbed trailer like out in front of this Masonic lodge.
Yeah.
Okay, where we were dancing by the railroad tracks. Okay, we were dancing out there, and I forgot what event it was, but it was hot, so it wasn't Christmas. It was another event because it was hot.
Well, it could have been Christmas around here.
It could have been. You're right, Todd. I remember it was so hot. I was melting, and I had to wear pantyhose, those tights.
Yeah. So that kind of hot. Yeah.
So but they were letting us change our outfits, our costumes inside the Masonic lodge over there. And it, it's like the strip, like the downtown area by the railroad tracks, like Old Town. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And so I went in there, and I was hot. I was looking for a bathroom, and I wanted to go put some like cold water on my wrists and stuff. And I was looking for the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I got a little too curious, and I was like opening doors and just kind of nobody was paying attention to me. So I was just kind of da 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 da. And I opened up a door, and it was a closet. And what I saw, I haunted me my whole life until I was doing some research on I was doing some research on goat men actually at some point. And I came across this picture because I looked up Baphomet because I was trying to make connections to Baphomet and goat man. And that's what I saw was what was pictured as being used in a satanic ritual.
Yeah.
And it was a tall, like long neck goat head with horns. And there was a robe beside it. It was like something that a person, like a costume they would wear in a ritual at that lodge. And I always thought, like, what in the world is this dude in here? It scared the bejesus out of me when I saw it. And I quit opening doors after that. Okay. but I saw that.
They were like, these little girls, they're not gonna, they're fine. And then you got Jessica down. Like, I think that's the picture you sent me, Jessica. You texted me, and that's wild. Like that. I don't know if I showed you, Todd. I'll have to show you after we're done. But yeah, that is wild. And I know, Jenny, I was actually thinking about the fainting goats. Fainting goats are hysterical.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to start doing that now. When I get afraid, I'm just going to fall over.
Oh my gosh, your legs get stiff.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for those goats. Oh my gosh.
Hello, welcome everybody. I'm throwing your comments up as you come in. So thank you guys all for being here. So we know. So when I was kind of looking up some stuff, like Maryland also, is Maryland one of the states that has a huge goat man mythology around it?
It is actually. Here, I've got some notes on Maryland because I have to. Let me see if I can read what I have here on Maryland. We also have a Goatman's Bridge in Alton, Texas, and I think that's where Ghost Adventures went. I want to say that's the same one where Ghost Adventures went, and they got attacked. They started doing a ritual at the bridge, and I turned the volume off of my television because I felt like they were doing a ritual in my house or something. It felt very dark.
Yeah,
it wasn't good. It was not good. Okay, here we go. Let me just read this little paragraph that I have right here. Oh wait, it's a whole article. Hold on. Fletchertown. Okay, Fletchertown Road in Prince George's County, Maryland. The goat man is said to jump on cars and attack drivers. So let's see. A local family's puppy went missing, and a few days after that, they found the missing puppy near Fletchertown Road, and it was decapitated. So there was an article. They put articles in the local newspaper, and they went nationwide. Okay, but it said residents fear goat man lives. Dog found decapitated in Old Bowie. That was a title of their newspaper article. You can imagine the locals were flipping out.
Right.
And it said. They said that this is alleged or supposedly a group of teenage girls. This is what was in the newspaper article. The group of teenage girls heard a strange noises in the night. The puppy went missing, and other locals reported seeing an animal-like creature that walks on its hind legs. On November 30th of that year, now this was in the 1970s. Wait, oh, that was 1952. 1952.
Yeah.
And the goat man was introduced to a national audience when the Washington Post published an article on the incident titled "A Legendary Figure Haunts Remote St. George's Woods." Now, here's my thing about this: if it's hairy, it's walking on two legs.
Yeah.
It could have been a dog man. Okay, and I think, I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't a goat man, right? But if people saw what looks like a goat man, they saw a goat man. But there's way more dog men out there.
Yeah.
I think. And they would decapitate a puppy too.
Right. Yeah.
Take your dogs inside at night, y'all. Inside.
Yes.
Have you ever thought about how the dog man, goat man, or whatever could be a skinwalker that's only halfway through their transformation into the animal or the person?
100%. I mean, it could be full-fledged, like
Right.
turned.
Brice and I had an experience up in Clayton last year during the winter, around this time, actually.
It was what, with the goat and the woman?
Yeah.
It was Thanksgiving 2023.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, that was a while. God, time flies.
A little over a year.
So Brice and I were looking for this.
2024.
No, 2024. Sorry. Yeah. So Brice and I were looking for this old abandoned cemetery up by the old homestead that's right on the border of South Carolina and Georgia. It's a hike. Anyway, you go to the old homestead, but there's the old cemetery that is up from that on a different road. So anyway, it's like, 20 degrees outside, and it's like a couple hours before dusk that we're trying to find the cemetery. Then a long dirt road. Nothing's down this dirt road. It's just like old hunting road.
He's leaving stuff out. You're leaving a very important part of the story out.
What's that part?
Because the weirdness started before we even started going down.
So the weirdness started was all of a sudden we were in our hotel room, and all of a sudden, like, I just get this hair up my ass to go to this cemetery. Like, I don't know where. I just like, Brice, get on your clothes, get ready. We're gonna.
No. Back up.
Okay.
We were gonna go it was evening, and you guys know the sun sets early, so we were gonna go into town to that little mystic shop and do some. I had put full makeup on. I had my nice mountain clothes on. Not my. You had promised me because you were gonna take your nap.
Yeah.
And you woke up from your nap. I had full makeup on, and he was like, get in the car now. We're going to the cemetery. And we started going down War Woman Road. I was almost in tears begging him to turn the car around, and he could not hear me. It was like The Shining. He had this and I was like, I kept saying, I don't consent. I don't want to do this. Something feels weird. Now you go on, Todd. So that's the backstory. I'm having a panic attack.
And I sort of forget this because I was in this weird state. And so we're on the dirt road, and we're probably 15 minutes down the dirt road, and we come upon this woman just sitting on the side of the dirt road. You know how dirt roads are there. Sitting on the side of the dirt road. It's 20 degrees outside, and she doesn't have her shoes on. She's barefoot. I don't see shoes anywhere.
She has a beanie on her head, jacket, and she's just sitting up against a rock with her feet out crossed barefoot. She just kind of waves to us as we go past.
We were like, that's weird. What's she doing out here? Because there's no homes or anywhere. Not even any cutoffs where you could go to a home. And so we drive past, and we get to the turnoff off the dirt road where you could go up to the cemetery, and I knew the car wouldn't make it up there because there was too many potholes and stuff. So we turn around, and we get back to where she was supposed to be, and she's gone, and there's a goat.
A black goat is following us down the side of the road.
What? Ew.
I've never, in all my years of being going up to those mountains, I have never seen a feral goat, and it was a black goat. And so we were thinking that in that time that we left and came back and crossed that area, she had turned into a goat because it was in the exact spot.
Yeah. Would you say so? Maybe that is fair to say that, like Goat Man, Jersey Devil, Dog Man, that these are all variations of skinwalkers.
Mm-hmm. They could be, very well could be.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, Goat Man doesn't seem like it'd be so natural, but they could be too. I mean, but when you look back, I've studied maps, like old world maps, and like the Piri Reis map from, what is that? I want to say the 1500s, is it 1300s or 1500s?
I don't remember where that map originates, but I've definitely heard of it.
1500s. I could be wrong, but yeah.
I don't recall Goatman being on that map, but there's everything else on that map. Okay. But I don't remember Goatman being on that map. Okay, yeah. But I mean, it could have just been something that I don't think that Shakespeare or anyone back in the past just made it up out of nowhere. Right. I think that there's had to have been some kind of relevancy to it back then, and over the years, I mean, it is associated with Baphomet and something very dark and evil. And these stories that we hear, like the Pope Lick monster out of Kentucky. Now, this is the Pope Lick Bridge, I think is what they call it. It's like that long train trestle. I forgot. I think it's 800 yards or something crazy. Yeah. I think it's 800 yards. It's either maybe it's 800 feet. That would be a lot smaller. But but it's a really long bridge. It might be 800 yards. I don't know.
What's it called? Football fields. Bridge?
That'd be like 8 football fields. Yeah, look it up and see how big it is, because I've never been there. Yeah. I just know it's really long. It's probably 800 feet.
Uh-huh.
It's 600 to 633 feet.
Oh, never mind.
Okay, that's still long. That's still a long bridge.
If I've got the right one here, I'll pull up for people to see if hopefully I've got the right one.
It's the Pope Lick Bridge. It's owned by Norfolk Southern Railroad.
Yeah.
And they have posted signs all around it. Now, a lot of people have died there. And and they haven't
Wait,
died from getting
sorry, is
attacked
it
by the goat.
Goat Lick Bridge or
Pope,
Pope?
P-O-P-E.
Never mind. Scratch that. I was looking
Okay.
up something else.
The goat licker bridge.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wait, no, it's
That's
7.
something
Okay, you were
different.
close. It's 7. Yeah, it's in Louisville, Kentucky. It's 772 feet long and stands 90 feet high.
Yards would have been way bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, okay, so it is, but it's really high. It's like, what is it, 9 stories high or something like that? I think that's what I remember hearing.
Here we go.
Okay. It's really tall. And so here's the thing about it. Like, people will go out there, kids, thrill seekers, ghost hunters, they will climb through the fence and they will get up to the bridge, and there's no escaping. Like, the trains still use it. So you'll get like halfway out on that bridge and a train's coming at you and you can't run. Like, you can't outrun the train because it's such a long run. And so a lot of people just end up having to dangle off the side, or most of them fall to their death.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people have fallen to their death on that bridge right there. But they say, some people say, well, the goat man lured them out there, or they feel like they're hearing their voice, or they hear the voice of a loved one calling them out there.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's almost
creepy.
like a mimic. Yeah.
So creepy.
It's creepy. It is. It's very creepy. But I just say, just don't do it. Just don't go out there. I don't know. I'm crazy, but I ain't that crazy.
I know.
Right.
I
respect on that
respect
bridge.
I feel like I respect the paranormal too much. Like, I fear them. Like, I know it's real, you know? So is there a reason why it's attracted to this particular bridge?
I have no idea. I don't remember. I don't think that's in my notes today.
Probably all the tragedy that they've seen out there with the people that, are attempting.
Could be.
Fate. Yeah.
Well, allegedly, my opinion, YouTube for entertainment purposes only. We know that in the Luciferian religion, they have to feed off of human life, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I do have my notes here. Do you want me to read about this?
Like,
It's just a paragraph. It's just a
heard this.
paragraph.
Tell
Okay.
us, girl.
Okay. So the Poke Lick monster is believed to live at the train trestle over Poke Lick. I can't say it. Poke Lick River. So that's the name of the river. That's why in Kentucky. It's described as a goat man with light skin, dark hair, horns, and it carries an axe. Okay. It mimics human voices, lures unsuspecting victims onto the high trestle by calling out to them in the voice of a loved one, or it's crying. Multiple fatalities have occurred over the years from thrill seekers and goat men enthusiasts. The bridge trestle is approximately 90 feet high, or 9 stories, and it's a rickety 800 feet long, and it's actively used by Norfolk Southern Railroad, and it's private property, fenced. The fence has posted signs all over it. That doesn't stop anybody, though. And it's been a source of trauma for many victims' families and railroad employees, because the railroad employees are having to deal with all the deaths out there and stuff.
Right. Yeah. I saw a documentary on that bridge not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's scary. Okay. I mean, I love a good scare. Okay. I've actually been watching these Randonautica videos, Brice, and I've been thinking about you. Like,
I've been wanting to do a Randonautica with you, Jessica.
I would be willing to do it. Todd's got to come too, though.
Yeah.
We got to take one of these with us if we do it, because
I stay strapped, girl. Don't worry.
Yeah, you and Todd were fine. Yeah. Todd does too. So yeah, we need to do it up. But we've done it in Atlanta, but it's kind of, it's Atlanta. I want to do it up in Clayton, but I want to do it like early morning with the sun up.
Oh God. I just watched one this morning or last night. It was like these girls that were sent to some kind of abandoned apartment building, and there was chanting and stuff. Like, there were rituals going on in there.
Huh.
And they thought it was funny. I was like, run.
Right.
Get out of there. Some people have zero survival skills.
I
Survival
know. I'm
instincts.
like, have we learned nothing these past 6 years?
I know. Well, see, I'm a little worried that, like, once you do that, does it kind of mark you, or like there's people who is behind this?
Right. Yeah. Brice and I have done it here in Atlanta, and
it hasn't taken us anywhere. Like, no,
nothing exciting.
Nothing super exciting. I have the free one though. So I think maybe if you pay for it, it gives you more exciting stuff, but I'm not willing to pay for it. So, but if we want to, let us know, guys, if you want us to get a GoPro and to go rando nautica hunting in Clayton, then or anywhere there's lots of abandoned places in Georgia, right? And I've learned too, Jessica, that because I'm O negative and because I have an extra vertebra, I am bait. I am absolutely bait for things. So
you know, I think it'd be more fun to even do it down in like South Georgia, like where they filmed The Walking Dead. That kind of like an abandoned town like that. Kind of, I think that'd be more fun.
Yeah. Do you know what's interesting? Okay, I'm following the story from South Georgia. Have you seen this, Jessica? I've talked to Todd about it. The exit is near Valdosta. So Valdosta is like the big marker before Florida. LOL big. It's not Atlanta.
The metropolis.
Yeah, 15 minutes west of Valdosta is a town called Quitman, which my 3 times great grandfather founded that town, and he was obviously very much a Freemason. We've been to his grave, and there's a big house down there that's now a flower shop. Todd and I've driven by it, that my 2 times great grandfather built. Who he was a worshipful warlock of the Freemasons. His name was Stanley Bennett, my grandmother's grandfather. That shop apparently now is haunted by him, which is wild to know that your great granddaddy haunts a place. And there's also a marshland that's abandoned out there. We drove through it, Todd, with these crazy abandoned houses that's called the Paul Hansel Bennett wetlands. That's my great grandfather. That's my grandmother's father. So it's weird. I was like, I didn't even know this, but so there's some weirdness in this area. There apparently is this big story going on down there, Jessica, where people have claimed they've pulled off of 75 coming from Florida. They've pulled into a gas station. They get to the gas station. It's like a time loop. It's like the 70s and 80s again. And then not only that, but people are writing into the show saying, oh my God, back in the 70s or the 80s, people thought my dad was crazy because he came in saying that time travelers from the future. And so many people have been writing in about this particular like vortex in South Georgia. And it drives me crazy because they won't give the actual exit. So I don't know if it's on the west side, because in the east of Valdosta you're getting close to the Okefenokee Swamp, which you have, giants, all sorts of stuff coming from the Okefenokee Swamp. I don't know which side of Valdosta 75 kind of runs through it they're talking about. So sorry to interrupt with that story, guys, but I would love to do South Georgia, because I think we can invoke the protection of my
Well, that's interesting about the time travel. I mean, I've had time travel comes up a lot in my life. And I just had a dream when I was up in the mountains on Sunday night. I had a dream that I was time traveling to the year 3,509 or something like that in my dream. How specific is that, though? It's just kind of weird. And actually, the guest for my show from yesterday, Robert Coley's his name. He owns Global Robotics Corporation, and he's into. I mean, he's like works with like, doing Tesla stuff with robots and interplanetary trade with Mars and all this kind of stuff. Like he's a very interesting man, but he was in my dream. We were time traveling together, and it was odd because he told me that he was joking around. He's like, well, that must be why I woke up at 4:30 this morning and couldn't go back to sleep. And I said, well, that's weird, because my dog was barking at 4:30 this morning and woke me up. And so anyways, time travel comes up so often. I even heard my voice say time travel out at the meadow one night from across the creek. It was my voice that said time travel really loud. And,
was it Goatman trying to lure you?
It was me. I don't know. I like to think I'm a time traveler, and I go back and scream at myself in the future and from the past. See, I don't know. It's weird. Okay. Yeah. But I just love time travel. I would love to go down there sometime and check that out. Take some equipment and try to find out what's going on down there. What are the anomalies?
Right. We should go down there for sure. I would absolutely, totally go down to that area with you guys. That's it's swampy down there. That's like real South. Like you're really in the South when you are in South. You got so many billboards telling you're going to go to hell if you don't repent.
Yeah. Well, that's where the Okefenokee giant attack happened in 1829 down there.
Yeah. The Lake City, right past Valdosta, that's a beautiful area. National Park over there. Brice and I will stop there halfway traveling to Florida. And Lake City is it's a cool area.
Man, it'd be cool to have a time traveling conference down there or something.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I've got.
I was thinking about this. When we see those pictures, what's it from the 70s of these specific parties with this particular banking family, and what are they wearing as their
bird cages on their heads
and goat? Yeah,
goats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all the famous celebrities pretty much have to worship Baphomet, don't they? Or they usually wear like a goat. They're all the goat, the greatest of all time, right? And but like even Beyonce's got like a goat ring on and little outfits with goat stuff. I don't know.
I know
it's quite the fashion statement.
Drunk grandma has been caught in meetings with a pennant, a Baphomet pennant. Nancy Pelosi, they've drunk grandma. She's just drunk grandma.
Drunk grandma.
She's been drinking the red stuff and she's a little high on it. But she wears a pin, a brooch a lot.
Man. Yeah. It makes you wonder. It's a big old club and some of us
we ain't in it.
Which is good.
That's good. Yeah, I don't want to be a part of their club. Their club.
I know. But
why do you think the goat is so important to them? What about the goat makes them want to venerate? I mean, Baphomet, but where do you think that started, Jessica? If you had to guess, like because they could have made it a horse, they could have made it an elephant, they could have made it a monkey, but they made it a goat. Like, what do you think? Is it because of the horns? Like, what do you think started that?
Well, I'm thinking it's got something to do with Pan and how, Pan, when you start thinking of like Peter Pan and stuff, like, I mean, even though it's a children's story, like a fairy tale kind of thing, Pan is associated with like being pansexual. Yeah. Is that the word we want to call it?
Yeah.
For YouTube purposes, pansexual, that means like you'll do anything with anybody or anything. Right. And it's I know that's, I don't know. I'm no expert on this stuff, y'all. But I think maybe it's got something to do with that. Like almost like being wild and free. Okay. And it's almost like, it's just seen as I don't want to say satanic, but just kind of sinful and stuff. And maybe that's where it comes from. And then of course, we always have been kind of fed the idea of like the devil having horns, right? Mm-hmm. And, I mean, some people would associate it more being like a reptilian kind of vibe, but others are, the devil is usually portrayed as looking like a goat man, kind of.
Right. So, yeah.
Maybe that's it.
And goats are often used in ritual sacrifice stuff.
That is true. They are often used for blood. Yeah. I don't think so either, Jenny. I don't think fairy tales are actually for children either. It's interesting, the whole concept of Peter Pan. I've heard that too, that if you watch it from a different perspective, because Captain Hook, like I've seen people analyze Peter Pan, that actually Captain Hook is the good guy.
Right.
And all this because he's only after Peter. He's not after any of the other lost boys. Yeah. He's only after Peter. And is Peter Pan a demon luring children in? What is
the groomer, basically.
The little green man.
Yeah. And the mermaids and everything that Neverland symbolizes. And if you go back, Captain Hook is only he's not trying to hurt anybody else. He's only looking for Peter. So what is this a demonic entity pulling in the young souls? They never come home. So it's interesting. It's interesting that you say that. So I used to watch, though I never watched the Disney version growing up. My mom had the Mary Martin from Broadway. So it was an old woman playing Peter Pan.
Well, I actually was in a music. I used to do musicals growing up, and in our music, we did Peter Pan the musical. I ended up being Tinkerbell somehow. I'm like the tallest kid in the class, and I'm Tinkerbell. Okay, but anyways, but Peter Pan,
yeah.
Peter Pan has. Well, I was the fairy godmother in the Wizard of Oz. I was always like the freaking fairy, or I was just basically a fairy all the time. But Peter Pan has historically been played by women on Broadway and on all the musicals. We the person who played it was casted by a female, even in our musical. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there is that. I want to say inverted. I mean, I'm talking about like inversion and stuff, but it's just that's just the way it's always been. You think he's a boy, but like the characters are always played by a female.
Always played by girls. Kathy Rigby was one. There's some big ones that have played Peter Pan. And they're always middle-aged women that play them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's kind of
interesting.
normal these days. Okay.
Yeah.
It's normal for
Right.
stuff like that. But
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. And that devilish, and I agree with Jenny. I haven't, have you done a deep dive into Grimm's Brothers on your channel, Jessica? To the Grimm's
No.
Brothers fairy tales? I've kind of tiptoed around that, like looking back at the Grimm's Brothers, because some of these fairy tales got softened over the years. But if you go back and look at the real original fairy tale, they're horror stories. They're slashers.
They are. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little Goldilocks and the big bad wolf and the grandma, Little Red Riding Hood, and the wolf eating the little girl and all that. It's wild. Yeah. Yeah. No, I haven't really taken a dive into that. I have a friend, my friend Eric, did a show on that one time, and I remember he did one, but I have not covered it. I could.
Yeah.
Probably
I
should
know.
one day.
Maybe we could do it together. Look at some of these, because it's something
Yeah.
I've kind of like not. It's always kind of been in the. But you know what? It's funny. Years ago, there was a TV series. I think it was called Grimm. Let me know in the comment section. I watched a few of the episodes, but it was about. It kind of was about shape shifting, and you know, skinwalkers are shapeshifters. It was kind of about these fairy tales not being fake, and that these people had these abilities to turn into these creatures, but they didn't know it, but they were learning that they had these abilities to do these things. And you guys remember what show I'm talking about? So while y'all are talking, I'll look it up, because they kind of touched on that a few years ago with a mainstream television series about this stuff. It was long before like 2020. Was it called Grimm TV show? Oh, yep, absolutely.
Yeah. There was a show called Grimm. I remember that.
Yeah, it's pulling it up, and that's what it was based off of, Grimm's fairy tales. Let's see here. Yeah, the magical creatures are part human, part animal. So it's about Portland detective Nick Bernhardt descends from a long line of warriors known as Grimms that defends his city from magical creatures known as Wesson, which are part human, part animal. So what are they preparing us for with these TV shows? You know, I will pull some of these pictures up, guys, because it's quite. Speaking of Goatman, there's some. Looks like there's some Goatmen here.
Well, it's what our government, our militaries. I'm saying this is alleged. Wink, wink. What our government militaries allegedly have been doing for a long time are these human-animal hybrid super soldier experiments, and I don't think it's so much experiments anymore. I think they're just making them. And and you know, and it could all go back. I mean, I know we were talking about, well, could they be like animal human hybrids, like naturally? I mean, people talk about the Nephilim, right? And how the Nephilim have mated with the human women and stuff, and made these atrocities of like animal human hybrids. That could be going on too, you know. But yeah, I've got too many eyewitnesses and too many testimonies from people who have been part of these super soldier programs, who have come on my show actually and talked about that, about how they've been down in these deep underground military bases and these tunnels where they have encountered horrible, you know, monstrosities of spider men, literal spider men. Like Max is the name of this one spider. It was like a man. A man's head and torso. He had eyes on the sides of his head, and his legs were like spiders. And they would feed him children. And when my buddy Daryl was in the secret space programs, he was actually in the U.S. Navy, and they recruited him to be in the secret space programs. He actually signed a contract. He wasn't like kidnapped and put into this. He agreed to be a part of it, to be a part of Solar Warden. But he said that for punishment, they would take them down into these caves and say they were going to feed them to Max. He'd watch that thing eat children and stuff sometimes. Yeah, it was, and there's been multiple people who have had those testimonies. But you know, and then we hear testimony from Phil Schneider.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember his. Yeah, way back in the day. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, he was actually best of friends with my friend Jimmy Payne, who comes on my show pretty often. And Jimmy and I just did a show on the real story behind the island of Dr. Moreau, and it has to do. I mean, it's so wild, y'all. It deals with time travelers and like animal human hybrids and all that. And but okay, so Jimmy and Phil were good friends, and Phil was the one who did the whistleblowing on Dulce Base.
Yeah.
and all the terrible experiments. He was a contractor there. I think he works in management or maybe helping to construct these tunnels. I don't know what he did. I forgot.
Yeah.
But he was a very important whistleblower who was found dead, unalived.
Yeah.
And after he started whistleblowing on it, but they were doing animal human experiments, like where they were combining the two in horrific experiments down there. They're probably still doing it.
Yeah.
What do you think the point is of doing that? Like, what's their end goal?
Well,
who knows, right?
Good question. Well, that's why I believe it's probably super soldiers, like trying to weaponize things. Plus, it's probably just because they can.
Yeah.
Like people are sick. There's a lot of people that are pretty sick, and maybe not all the people that are doing it are all humans. It could be alien experimentation too.
Right.
And it causes, we know, again, the light cannot create, the darkness cannot create anything, only the light can. So it's all inverting what the light has created. And it is sick. It is gross. It is disgusting what they've done. And, it's so funny because we call with the fourth density service a self, which would be like the demons. We call them Lizzies because that's how people usually perceive them as lizard. And that's just the pet name we have for them. And a lot of people do see the reptilian enigma appear in photos and stuff like that. And it is, but it seems like because of the Greek mythology and all that kind of stuff that that this stuff it's been going on for a very long time. Do you think it dates back to like Atlantis with all the knowledge the Atlanteans had?
That's funny you asked that because I think my friend Barry Littleton gives me he tasked me with blind remote viewing targets, and he gave me some coordinates one time, and it ended up being Atlantis. And the first thing that I was seeing when I got into that session of that target, I saw a horse-headed human.
Wow.
A human with a horse head.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because there are pictures of people, where people are like, oh, well, I think this is Atlantis. It's underneath the sea, and there's actually a minotaur or some kind of, it's like a human body with like a bull's head down there. And so I think like people were saying, well, they think that there were like animal human hybrids, kind of like the Egyptian gods,
Yeah. Well, and the Hindu, like Hanuman, Ganesh is an elephant head with a human body.
Mm-hmm.
Hanuman is fully monkey, but we see that a lot in a lot of ancient Native American cultures as well. Now, I have a question, and Todd, as soon as he comes back, he might be going to the restroom. He just does that, guys. He's very socially awkward. He just gets up and walks off sometimes. There he is. Ask Jessica, because we haven't told you this story yet about when we were leaving Clayton not the time before last. We had a wild, like very literal paranormal experience happen. So what do we ever see? Big lion-sized animals with bright red fur in this group with like black little stripes going down it in this group of like cryptid, humanoid, animalistic. Do you know of any? Or do the skinwalkers get to pick their colors like outfits?
Well, usually the S-walkers are the ones, I call them S-walkers, but sometimes I'll say the word like once, then my audience gets upset, so I have to say that it's just S-walker. But usually they turn into whatever pelt they put on. So if there's a pelt that's like red and bright orange and stuff, whatever, I don't know, whatever animal
it looked like human hair, and actually it was one of the wildest.
It was crazy. We can call them mall walkers, like old ladies walking at the mall, the mall walkers. They're scary too for a different reason.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of crazy paranormal stuff in my day, but this experience that Brice and I had on 441 leaving Clayton.
It was dawn. Sun was just rising.
Sun was just rising, barely up. It was still a little sort of dark outside. And this large animal like came barely across.
Lion. It was a big animal.
Yeah, it was bigger than a dog.
Way bigger.
And it was running faster than any animal I had ever seen. And it just came out of nowhere. Like it didn't even, like, you couldn't see it cross the other side of the road. It just like popped almost out in front of us, and it was weird because behind it looked like motion, like we were running with it, and it ran right, like Brice was screaming, "Don't hit it! Don't hit it!"
It looked like an animal.
He ran right in front of the car, and you could see the headlights illuminate it, and it got right at the passenger side headlight, and we should have hit it, but then it just disappeared.
Evaporated, no bumps, nothing.
Just like
nothing was there.
It popped into reality and ran at us and right in front of us, and just about we're about to make contact with it. All I did was just take my foot off the gas. I didn't put on the brakes. I didn't really have time, and about to hit it, and it was no impact. And then both Brice and I were looking.
Like I was bracing for impact. And I have an SUV, and it was hot. Like I could see the top of it. It was bigger than a dog.
Yeah,
it was
did hit it, and it never went past us. It just disappeared.
That's weird.
It looked like it had red human, like thick, red, long human hair.
Oh my God. I don't know what that is.
It was the speed that thing came at us. It was nuts. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh my gosh. I don't know why in my mind I'm thinking like hyena or something like that, but right. I don't know. But it had long hair like an Afghan dog or something.
Flowing hair. Yeah. And it was like the legs weren't even touching the ground. The way that it was, and all the hair on its face was just pulled back because of the speed it was going. It was all just pulled back with the head sticking out and just running like
running like a cat.
Swerved. No other cars swerved. No other lights swerved. It was way bigger than a cat. It was bigger than our dog Ravi. It was bigger than most. I was panicking, and then when we did the board later, Lou did say it was a form of a skinwalker. But it was trying. If I had been driving, I would have swerved, and we would have wrecked.
So we see now when we go up to the mountains, we see something like an S-walker every single time. Mm-hmm. Lou has told us that it's because we've become so aware of them that they'll just show themselves now, and like they basically follow us.
See, that's why I don't say the word and stuff, because I'm out in the woods so often. Mm-hmm. And so if I don't even want to think about it when I'm out there.
Yeah.
Because it will manifest.
Right. Yeah. We've had probably, I think, 4 literal experiences now. Yeah. And each time they have been getting more and more literal, because I think from what I understand, what Lou's told us is once you become fully aware of them, like their paranormal aspect, once you become aware of that they're not going to hesitate to show themselves. Because with some people, you get like a weird experience and you'd be like, oh, that might be something. But then once you get to a certain level of understanding them and not just believing them, but having direct experiences, then they're just like, whatever, we're just going to just do our thing.
From you anymore.
Not even veil ourselves, because it becomes that much more literal that they'll just show you reveal themselves in their full glory, I guess is what you call it. Like they don't hesitate anymore, and they've been easing into our life like that. And then this last one, it's like Lou's just telling us like you've crossed a line now. Now they're just going to
show. Well, it's funny because you think about it, like you have 50% of the human population are organic portals, meaning they don't have their upper chakras. So we can say they're not fully soul. They don't have a full soul. Well, we know that these cryptid creatures, these skinwalkers, these paranormal, whatever you want to call them, they're not interested in, we call it in OPs. They're not interested in OPs. They can't get anything. They can't feed off of an OP. So when you look at Lake Burton, what we learned is that majority of people who own property there are organic portals. They're not affected by the paranormal. The paranormal doesn't bother with them. So when you go up to a place called like Clayton, they are very selective over the humans that they hunt, because they're not going to hunt humans who don't have a life force for them to feed off of. So I think if you're worried about it, just grab someone you know is an organic portal and bring them with you and use them as a shield.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's not nice. I'm just kidding.
So it's wild though. It is. I feel like there's more. Sometimes I feel like there's more of them, of these cryptid creatures, than there are of like us.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes. Now we were
There's
told by Lewis. I have it's not Black Rock, the company, guys. This is Black Rock Mountain, which is a mountain up near Clayton, and that's where we do our big like 10-mile hike. We were told by Lou to stay specifically on trails because an agreement has been made, and they can't bother you on actual national trails.
Lou was telling us that when they created national parks, I guess they had like some sort of meeting, and the feral people
on Reddit too. Reddit, they talk about this,
feral people, the S walkers, Bigfoot, and stuff like that. If we stay on the trails, then that's off limits to them. But as soon as we go off the trail, then we're free. We're basically like free game. We could be messed with. We could be hunted, and so that's a good thing to know.
Have you ever heard that, Jessica?
Well, I do know about all the missing people that disappear out of our national parks without a trace, and a lot of times they do go off trail.
Right. Yeah. And so so people don't. It's probably a good thing that people understand the agreement that's been made, and that you shouldn't go off trail unless you're into looking for trouble.
Unless you're Todd, who went totally off trail on Glassy Mountain and found a rock and decided to camp out there one night. I think I even told you. Like,
it's probably the ritual rock. It's like the ritual sacrifice rock.
Basically, yeah. We've
got pictures from up there. I remember that rock.
Yeah, well, Lou told me if I went up there again, I would never come back.
Oh, by yourself? I was worried about you, Todd. Okay, and I'm a seasoned researcher.
And I did not listen. And Lou tells me that I'm extremely, extremely lucky that I made it back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there's all those there's backwoods cults everywhere, and I am convinced that, like, I hate to say this, but like satanic rituals and things are just on the rise, and witchcraft and all that. I've seen it. I mean, being psychic is wonderful, but it's also like you can kind of see through people sometimes, and I know there are people that pretend to be one thing when they're really putting spells on you and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
yeah. And I know a handful of people that have been doing that. And so just you gotta really be careful. You know what I mean?
A lot of them are on YouTube.
There's a lot on YouTube. That's right. Putting spells on people.
Yep.
Yeah. That's how they're getting their big followings.
Absolutely, my friend.
That's why my followings are kind of slow and steady.
Me too, girl. It's so funny you say that, Jessica. I've been trying to trust myself more. Lou's been saying Brice, or trust my intuition more, because I'll get funny feelings and I'll talk myself out of it.
Oh yeah, don't ever do that.
Talk me out of it. And now Todd's learned, like, if I say I'm not comfortable somewhere, just we don't go there. Like,
I think I've numbed my fear factor. I've never really had it. Spooky places really don't spook me, which is not a good thing, I guess. I always laugh at the paranormal researchers that go out to like these haunted homes, and then something happens and they pack their stuff up and run. And it's like, well, that's what you came for.
Exactly.
That's what you came looking for. Why is it that you're afraid? And so I'm one that could, 100%, spend the night or even a weekend in the most haunted of houses, just because it doesn't really scare me. And I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, but at the same time, if you're going to be a paranormal investigator, like, you shouldn't be spooked by the paranormal, and run off.
You know how many times that people ask me, like, why didn't you just leave when all this stuff happened? I'm like, because I'm there for it. But
right. Exactly.
That's why I went to go get scared. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And even when I've gotten sick, like one of the last, I go out in the woods a lot. I was just out in the woods Sunday. I was out there last week. But I one of my last trips to Alabama. Okay. I went out there with some guys that are on another team that I go out there with. And I got hit with infrasound twice. And one of the other guys had gotten hit with infrasound before. I'd never been zapped like that before.
Yeah.
To where I started crying. I didn't know I was crying. I was trying to hide it from everybody because I was embarrassed. I was like, I don't want to look like a baby in front of all these guys.
Right.
But But my friend Keith was there. My longtime research friend was with me, and he saw there was something wrong. And the other guy that got zapped, and by zapped, like that's what Bigfoot dogmen can do sometimes.
Right.
I think there's also government people out there probably that are handling some of these cryptids that have access to like the pew-pews that have the infrasound in them. And they may have been hitting us too. But it's something that I got violently ill and just was vomiting. And I mean, it just makes you just get migraines and like, it's just crazy. I got hit twice. And the second time I got hit out there, a tree cracked and it fell over in our base camp.
Oh, wow.
So there was 100% absolutely. Yeah. I don't know.
Warning you.
Well, you can look at it two ways too. It's like, well, was it the Bigfoots trying to keep us away from their babies out there? Was it dogmen? Or was it maybe some kind of cryptid handler that was trying to save our lives from something that was more dangerous out there and trying to get us out of there? Well, we didn't leave. I stayed. We stayed. It didn't matter how sick I got. I stayed. And I might have passed out and gone to sleep, woke up the next day and left. But we stay. We don't run from it. You know? Yeah,
well, Lou was telling us that with the S walkers that they're just there to scare you, really. That they're not gonna, from what I understand, they don't really.
No, they feed off. They'll like feed off of you, but you have to give consent to it.
Right, feed off of your fear.
Yeah,
I think what's one of their main reasons for coming into our orbit to begin with.
Like we learned that from Lou, that woman that was a goat, that she put herself in a position because we're in the South, right? And we're on a long dirt road and there's a woman sitting there with no car in hopes that Todd would pull over and ask her if she needed a ride. And because that's what a Southern man would do, right? Would ask her, and she was trying to lure us to that particular grave. And because he didn't pull over and ask her to give him a ride, that was him not the first attempt of him saying no consent. So it was almost like there's this like vampiristic, like, because we know that both sides have to play on the walls of consent. Now that the dark side will try to manipulate that to get you to give consent without you really knowing you're giving consent, so it is like but S walkers, they scare me the most out of all the cryptid creatures out there. I feel like they are the ones that do scare me the most. I think it's because they were at one point human, and like what makes them do that?
We've actually had one that came into our camp up in near Cherokee.
I remember you told us about that
10 plus years ago. Yeah.
You said it was like an Asian woman or something that had come up and dressed in like business clothes or something. Was that what it was?
Well, that was at the meadow. That was different.
Okay.
And, that was the night that the portal showed up, and I actually had gone home and I was having orbs dancing around Ben, my son, that night. At the same time, the team was having a portal that documented a portal and sent 2 people into it. Those people have since passed away, by the way, from health complications and stuff. But it was that night while they were experiencing the portal, trying to figure that out. A woman came into base camp and was insisting that the guy on our community, our comms guy, Glenn, call the team back to base camp because she had some very important information for them. And it was just weird. It was something was using her to lure them out of the meadow to get them away from that is what it was.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think she was a skinwalker, but she was something. Well, some of the people were like, well, maybe she was a woman in black or men in black. But they ended up tracking her down and found out who she was. She's a professor at a local university.
Huh.
Yeah. But she was acting weird.
An undergrounder. She might have
been. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
An undergrounder because Lou had talked about there was a guy that I saw on Glassy, and he was walking down the logging road trail with AR-15 over his shoulder.
Don't say that again, Todd.
Oh, okay. Anyway, walking up the trail. I had never seen anyone out there before. Walk up the trail, and Lou had told me, like, because Lou had brought that up and said, "Oh, well, he was watching you, to see what you were doing out there."
He's a watcher.
So, yeah, right. So, there are things going on up in and around those mountains that. Are
you familiar with undergrounders, Jessica? About that phenomenon?
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
I've heard of the Chud people.
No, this is different. These are humans. These are humans just like we are, that basically live underground. This isn't like military based stuff. This is just like their society lives underground, and not in caves. You know, these are like cities and stuff, not built by our government, and they live amongst us. And there's different different levels.
Roles. They're like assassins. They like so the big tarot card reader that had my birth, she's an undergrounder. They're given roles to play. They come up and they infiltrate and they manage, and they can assassinate as well. Assassinate. So they work for the Illuminati, for lack of a better word. But they manage. They try to handle and manage situations. They're given like a total script some of them are aware that they're undergrounders. Some of them are not. They're get like an MK Ultra type of thing. Yeah.
And talking to Lou, I was like, well, you know, Lou thinks it's just like, well, that's normal. Why do you think that's weird? You know, why? And asking me, why are you so fascinated with these? Because I would question Lou about it. I think Lou would ask, why are you so fascinated about these people? And I was like, because it's just weird, this strange that there would be this whole other, like, would seem like a breakaway civilization that lives underground, that come out and play these roles, and then they could go back home and you know, go back. It was like, well, that's not weird at all. You know, it's like, it's just part of their karma and their
society. Yeah. And what
yeah. And anyway,
they're infiltrators. They're infiltrators.
Yeah, they also call them, some of them are called deep level punctuators. And so sometimes they come up to play very specific roles within our society,
like the tarot card reader.
To bring in certain ideas and to introduce those into the mass population, or to come in and infiltrate movements, and they'll automatically be given a spot in prime time, like on YouTube. Like, you have these YouTube people that will show up out of nowhere, and they'll have, like, you know, 500,000 followers and this big group of this big following, and they'll get into a movement that's sort of getting out of hand and moving too far away from a narrative, and they'll be able to come in and scoop up all of these people and get them into this other controlled narrative, and then just carry it on. And those are the people that would be called the deep level, like underground, the deep level punctuators that come and make a certain punctuation within a movement to be able to steer it.
Man, so we've got those in the disclosure communities.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I would actually say that
a lot of them
most of the people in the quote unquote disclosure movement are part of that group. The way we understand it, and I don't know how much we want to go into this, talking to Lou, the way we understand it is, for one, we can't leave our planet. No third density planet, we cannot go off planet. Impossible. There's no possibility of us leaving the planet. And then when you talk about that, you could say that everyone that talks about they're on some project where they're going to Mars or the moon, it's impossible, and they're absolutely, bottom line, full of shit. Like, there's no getting around that, as far as I'm concerned. So then we could talk about extraterrestrials, and for extraterrestrials to come here is also, like, that's really not a thing, because an extraterrestrial would have to be a fourth density being. And for a fourth density being to come here, they're beyond extraterrestrial, because they're on a whole different level of spiritual evolution. So you could say that, and also positive extraterrestrials, they would never come here.
Well, it's all
because that's not how, unless they were service to self. And so there would be no good extraterrestrials. So you wouldn't want them here because they weren't invited. And so, I mean, that's a whole.
You weren't invited.
What's that?
Tell the undergrounders, be like, you weren't invited here. Go.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I used to be fascinated with the whole topic of disclosure and extraterrestrials. It's just, I at the end of the day, I feel like it's just a distraction. It's just wasting your time, because I don't particularly want service to self beings.
Well, what we were talking about was what the undergrounders can do. Like, they can, Like they're very well versed in black magic because they use black magic
Right.
as a weapon. We know this. We know this.
Right.
They might come in like if a movement is getting out of hand, if people know too much truth, they'll send an undergrounder in with a script of things to say and ways to like allure people into this narrative to get them away from what actually is the truth. And so they you know, like for example, there's this huge belief amongst the disclosure, truth, or freedom movement that the good guys are in control. That's not true.
Right.
That's not true. But they've been told, the undergrounders have been told to deliver that narrative that no children are being carpooled now anymore. We'll say that business is done. It's finished. That's bullshit. That's not true. But they're
Right.
trying to get people to stop talking about the island, right? The Grove in California. They're trying to close that down, shut it down, and send people in another direction. So they work for the Illuma Schmati. They work for the fourth density service to self, which would some people like, you know, as far as like extraterrestrials, some people do see that as an extraterrestrial. Like, what's the difference between an angel, a demon, and an extraterrestrial? That's just people's perspective, right?
Yes.
And so we know that that's what the Illuma Schmati worships. And so they're harnessing that and they're working for this particular group that just happens to be in control of our planet as well. And so when we start to figure that out, they'll send an undergrounder in with a total script. And I think you can tell, Jessica, too, like the one undergrounder that I know for sure, like she has a whole story of like her life, but there's some disconnect there. Like there's like no pictures, there's no, you know, there's like, there's no like reality that it sounds convincing when she's speaking, but there's no like full on reality to, there's no evidence. She's a huge presence online, but like, you're telling me not one picture of her kid. Is that like, what are you talking? Like, this is totally, or like when a relative died and she was gone for a couple of days and she came back totally fine. And it's like, even if you'd still be a little bit, you could tell if someone was deeply affected, you know what I'm saying? Like there's just some stuff you can tell. Yeah.
No, I've encountered several of those. That's why I get attacked so much, because I can see through people and I cut people off quick. As soon as I start seeing the signs of people's stories not adding up and like, you know, they're not who they say they are. And there's and I know there's some magic involved with some of these people. I don't care what kind of persona they put out to the public. I can see through it. And so they start to come after me and want to try to act like, you know, I'm crazy and stuff. But it's the same old story, different day.
Yeah,
you
we've
know,
both been through it.
There's a lot of people like that in these communities, though. Not a lot. I'm not saying there's a lot, y'all, but they're sprinkled in for sure.
I always think too, you see it too, like you can't question what they've said. And like the one I know for sure has never gotten anything right with her tarot card readings. Like nothing has ever come true, but yet you can't question what she says. That you're under a spell, y'all. You're being programmed. You're under a spell. This is a deep, what's it called? A punctuator, Todd?
Deep level punctuator. Yeah.
Level punctuator. Like
I know one of those.
You're her target. Like she's preying on you.
Lewis told us that the whole truther movement is a satanic movement at the end of the day.
Really?
And Lou was saying was giving an example of like why when you're in a war, how would it benefit the one side to get the other side to think that they had already won?
Oh wow.
Yeah, because then they can just walk through the front door.
Because then they would let their guard down. They would put their arms down and they would go, "Oh, it's a Trojan horse." So then the other side could like swoop in and be like, "Surprise!" You. And that's
called getting backdoored.
Yeah, right. And that's basically what's happening in the truther movement. It's gotten so bad that people think like, oh, this is all just a movie and we've already won and the darkness has already given up. Well, if you understood the service to self, the dark side, they just like the ones with morals, the side with morals, we would never give up our morals. They would never give up their lack of morals. They would never give up. You know, so they would fake giving up. They would love you to believe that they had given up because that would give them eventually the upper hand. And so to think that med beds are going to come and that all your debt's going to be relieved and you're going to get all this money in your bank account and the darkness is left.
Oh yeah.
Who does that benefit? Yeah. And the real work is the inner work, regardless of what you see on the outside. And so it's just, people are just being fooled by it.
And I think all of these things, these goat men, these skinwalkers, they all go back to the same group. It's the same group from the beginning that's been fucking with humanity and messing with our. I mean, do you think CERN has anything to do with this, Jessica and Todd? And we'll say that one time. We'll call it the battery, the big battery. Do you think this has anything to do with what's happening with all these phenomenons with what we perceive as extraterrestrials, what we perceive as UFOs, what we perceive as shapeshifters? Do you think that they're controlling it from there too?
Yeah. Well, ultimately, it's just a small group of people playing God is what they're doing, right. And they are opening rifts in space and time, and they are letting entities in and out of this reality. Yeah. And I mean, at this point, what is reality?
Right.
It's not. There's no normal anymore. And
right.
And then I mean, it's such a deep rabbit hole you can go down, because when we're talking about these cryptids, we're talking about goat men and these. I mean, why on earth would they send a scientist from Switzerland to the United States back in the 1920s to conduct animal-human hybrid goat men experiences underneath a dairy if they weren't making these super soldiers? And then it comes down to the topic of like, well, are these soulless? Are they making containers to put these dark entities into, like these? It's like an army. Is it an army of demons? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, the whole CERN thing is an interesting topic because I won't say it again. Were you just getting nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were over an hour, but just
I keep bringing Lou into it, but Lou's had a conversation with us about CERN and how there's. Sorry, I said it again. All right. Anyway. We could be a science show. We could be a science show. Anyway, so it's being used for multiple purposes. One, and this is interesting to think about, one of the things that CERN is doing, I said it again. Okay, sorry. One of the things that it's doing, when I say it, you know what I'm talking about. One thing that it's doing is it's trying to drop the veil. So, we have a veil over our consciousness, and they're using this technology to try to drop the veil. Yeah. And so you could say that when you're seeing, I'm just sort of thinking on the top of my head now that we're at this point, is that maybe these beings, these goat men and all that, are always around us. And this technology is working, and the veil is thinning temporarily, and all of a sudden we see them. Something that's always been there. And so, because to understand that they're using this technology, one of the purposes is to drop the veil on us, because Les Luz tells us it would be a very traumatizing experience. Just think about it. For some people,
everywhere.
Right. For some people, seeing goat man would be an extremely traumatizing experience because they don't expect that. And there's other beings out there that would terrify us even more if we saw them. And
spiders, you were saying,
they feed off of that. They feed off of that fear and terror, and so they're using this technology to thin the veil. And then we get flashes of like, holy shit, what was that I just saw? And then all of a sudden, life changes for you, and all of a sudden, you're scared of the dark or even the daytime because you can see them in the day. So that's one thing they're using the technology for, as Lou tells us. Second thing they're using this technology for is that technology feeds black magic. That's how black magic could be as potent as it is now, especially if you were to understand how to tap into the energy of this technology. So as Lou tells us, like there's multiple purposes for it, but the two main purposes is to feed the black magic and to drop the veil, because the ultimate goal of the extraterrestrial / fourth density service to self is to drop the veil on us. Because when they do that, we're traumatized. And when we're traumatized, we give off loosh. And when we give off loosh, they can make more of themselves, because they take that and harness it. It can make more beings, more service to self beings. So that's how organic portals are created, through our fear and trauma of soul people. We give off the loosh, this energy.
This life force
They
energy.
they scoop it up, and then they make their minions. So.
Well, do you guys remember the opening ceremony at the battery place in Switzerland?
Yes.
Yes, I saw videos of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
They had, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they had goat men in that opening ceremony.
Interesting. Yeah.
Look it up. Look up. It's like Pan or something.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive it was a goat man who was the master of ceremonies there.
Yeah.
And they
It
did
was
it
something like that.
in a tunnel, didn't they? I'm gonna pull up the images because I've seen it. They have it.
So those goat men could be.
Oh my gosh.
They could be walking all around us constantly, and it's just we can't see it because we have the veil. And then they turn, and then that machine gets cranked up, and the veil thins, and then some of us can see them, depending on where they are. So it could be that they're always there, and it's not a portal that they're coming through. It's just our veil thinning momentarily.
Absolutely. I actually just did a show yesterday with my friend Robert Coley, and I have a picture. I'll show it when the screen gets bigger, but I have a picture of a mantid being right here.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
A mantid being that was taken on a Polaroid camera in 1991. Here, I'll pull it up so you guys can see it.
Oh,
cool.
yeah. Look at those eyes, those red eyes before.
That was on a Polaroid camera. They accidentally took a picture in their telecommunications lab full of frequencies down in this basement lab. And they didn't mean to. The guy pulled the camera out of his camera bag. It flashed that picture. They saw it later and they're like, "Oh crap!" They didn't know it was in there. But see, it's just like just right there in their reality, but they just couldn't see it.
Right.
But it picked it up through that camera, the Polaroid.
Right.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
So it backs up what you're saying, Todd.
Right. I mean, Lou says that they're always around us.
Yeah.
They're always there.
And we don't want, I mean, here's the thing, like, I think people want the veil to drop, but you don't want the veil to drop because you're not going to see anything good. The service to others, the light beings only come when they're called for help. And sometimes they don't even come then if it messes with your karma. If it's going to interrupt your karma and lessons that you're going to learn, they don't come to help you. And so you're not going to see, you know, according to what we know, we've heard, like, every time somebody has seen an angel or the Mother Mary, or it's not a good being. It's a bad being mimicking a good being to manipulate you. And so I think people get very confused about that. They want the veil to drop. They want it. And it's like, I think what you see, Jessica, what we see is just, we see it just glimpses. We see little one out of the group will drop in and we'll see it. But in reality, they're everywhere. And so once they know we can see them, it does become a little bit more menacing, right? Because they're like, oh, I can fuck with this one because this one can actually see me and knows what I really am.
Yeah. Lou was saying about the positively oriented beings are never just they're not flashers. Like the service itself will be like, hey, baby, check this out. and then they'll show their light. You're like, whoa, that's so bright. You know, and so that the positive don't do that. It's the negative, and that's how they get you. That's how they're able to trick you. And then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, I saw a light being, I saw an angel, just assuming that it was negative because it was light. And so both the service to self side and service to other side are just as powerful, and they're both of the light. It's just the intentions are different. And so Lou's told us in modern times, Lou has never shown themselves because they're not a flasher. Like the
I love this. I love what I just have to comment. Amy said I go around waving sometimes. just waving.
Right.
Hello.
Yeah. So anyway, it's good to understand like the dynamics we're dealing with here. So we can keep our head on it, because the service to self side, they love to tempt your ego. They love to give you a little flash, you know, a little bit of light. So then you feel special, and then you'll help promote them. You know?
Well, and I think it's really important what Jessica does, what we do. You know, a lot of people might say this is fear mongering, but it's not, because you have to know the game in order to play the game. Knowledge is power, and knowledge protects. And no, that's not just a Cassiopean saying. My mother used to say that to us when we were kids, that knowledge is power, knowledge is power. Know what you're working with. Know who it is you're working with, because it's not going to stop. You're here on this planet. You're in a body. this is them's the rules. Like, we don't make the rules, we just got to play it, right? Don't hate the player, hate the game, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I feel like too, though, even though like S walkers do scare me a little bit, I feel like the more experience you have with them, though, the almost less intimidating they get. Does that make sense? I don't want to jinx it, but does that make sense? Like, you get more used to it, you know?
Are you scared of them, Jessica?
I try not to be scared of anything.
Yeah, right. I didn't think
yeah.
so. Yeah. Uh-huh.
But I mean, I'm not going to act like I don't ever get startled or, you know,
Yeah.
if I get a really bad feeling, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll stick around for a little bit, but I'm not going to stick around forever.
Right.
If there's something out in the woods and I can't put my finger on what it is. You know,
right. Yeah. Yeah. Lou was telling us about how you're protected. That you do
oh,
the
yeah?
right, yeah. About
Ask
how you
Lou
do
about me?
how you do the right things. Because I was like, well, how was Jessica and Ben safe on Glassy? They were like, oh, well, they know about this stuff and they know how to protect themselves.
Yes.
But for me, it was different, you know,
Oh
especially
my
at that time, you know, when I was up there so naive, just like bring it on.
Yeah. Well, see, I've been doing this for a long time, and we
Yeah.
do keep protection around us and stuff.
Right.
And
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and I know my son was born to do this stuff too. And
Yeah.
I have no doubt.
Handle it. I think Ben could absolutely handle it.
Even though he got really tired. Remember that? I never forget that picture where he found that arrow and he lays down on the ground. It looks like he got shot with the arrow.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Under his armpit.
Uh-huh.
He's so funny.
Yes, that was a fun. That was a fun day. Even if it was on a crazy mountain, that was a fun day.
Yes.
But but we were.
Yeah, the fourth density services self Lizzie's for like, we don't want all of them. We'll have to bring them back. They're too like if you get kidnapped, just be the annoying person that they just drop you back home anyway.
Like, we don't want to mess with them. They're too annoying.
Right, go back to third density. I can't handle you.
But yeah, I was just wondering if you were what your cautions were around coming across, you know, beings like that, like how you felt like, you know, are you in the end, are you safe or
I mean, listen, I'm not going to tempt fate or anything.
Right.
Okay. So no, I wouldn't go looking. I mean, I did go and do an investigation of an S Walker cave.
Yeah.
We found out it was an S Walker cave right before we went. We were going to do a Bigfoot Dogman investigation. But there was a cave in a couple's backyard. They had just bought this house. And it was 30 feet from their back door, and it was full of Choctaw. A Choctaw Native American shaman had banished multiple S walkers into that cave and spiritually sealed it. And that's where we were going. And so I had to deal with that. And actually, I did consult with a Lakota medicine man friend of mine, who gave me some very interesting advice on how to handle that, because and he asked me not to share it with the public, but I can tell you it was very much like hunting vampires.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Is what we were doing, because it's very spiritual, y'all.
Yeah.
This is not it's not just 3D flesh and bone and supernatural. It's very spiritual.
And vampires are absolutely real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. We've talked to Lou about that. And,
I know all these crazy, like all these myths you think Lou's like, oh no, those are real. But twin flames aren't real. Like it's like the things people want to focus on. Lou's like, no, but vampires are real, and S walkers are real, and Bigfoot is real, and shapeshifters are real. This is all real. And sometimes I think, though, for I was saying to Todd, Jessica, I think sometimes people would rather focus on the fluffy stuff that's not real because it keeps them in control. When you have to accept that there are things that are out of our control, that's when things get very scary.
That will hunt you.
That are hunting us, basically, you know.
Certain one of us, yeah. But Lou says that Bigfoot is very funny. They're funny.
Yeah, they are. They like to. They're tricksters, man. They like to play with you.
Right. Yeah, throwing the little rocks and doing things like that, just messing with people camping, like that. They're a lot of fun, and they're not dangerous at all.
Well, you know, they say, that is very true about the control aspect, right? And that's why the head of my research team taught us all remote viewing for the mind control aspect, because the one thing that I can control is my mind.
Right.
Okay. I'm not trying to control anybody else's mind, but I can control my mind. I can control my breath. I can control me. Okay.
Right.
Me. And that is my superpower. Okay. And it was a learned superpower. I mean, we all can do it. We all can do this, but like when you can control your mind, you can control your environment.
Right.
Okay. It's like, and I'm not saying you can completely control, like if a grizzly bear came running after me, I couldn't just mind control it probably.
Not yet.
But to an extent, when it comes to with some of this stuff, you can. I mean, you guys watch The Matrix. The Matrix is a documentary.
Right. Oh yeah.
Well, and they have to feed off of your consent as well. And that's absolutely correct. Actually, that's the second sutra of the Yoga Sutras, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. It's really like you have to control your mind. Like you have to, and that's what Patabi Joyce used to say, that yoga was about you controlling your own mind. You learning how, so these that's 5,000-year-old practice, right? To learn how to control that. And so it's not just about finding peace of mind, which is a huge part of it, but it's also about controlling your environment. And that is so and Jessica, I know, bless your heart, we've kept you on here for almost 2 hours. I could literally talk to you all day. We have got to, guys, I really want to get a GoPro. And I want to go out with Jessica and Todd. We can do the what's the Randonautica stuff. We can do all sorts of stuff.
I thought you were going to just put me out there as skinwalker bait.
No, I think I'm the O negative with an extra vertebrae.
It's either after.
That's what you told me, Jessica. Well, first of all, I'm not interested in I don't like being dirty and cold, so I'll stay at the Days Inn while y'all go out in the nighttime to look for skinwalkers.
I like getting dirty and cold. It's okay.
Lou told me that because of my vertebrae and my blood type, that I wouldn't be left alone. That they would be fascinated by whatever vibration I give off.
Lou said that if a skinwalker were to take sight of Brice, that they would like follow her. She would never be able to go to the mountains again without being followed because they could sense the extra vertebra, and that they would just be fat. They would just be infatuated with Brice. Yeah,
they call that being marked.
Brice is not allowed to go Bigfoot hunting with us, is what Lou said. Yeah.
Well, dang, Brice.
I know, but the skinwalkers come to me too. So, some girls get marked by a bunch of men. I get marked by
my skinwalkers are Bigfoot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is too funny.
Yeah. Well, guys, I'm gonna show one last a commercial quickly for Fusion Body Studio. We're gonna get Jessica up there too for her channel as well. So just sit with us for a few more minutes, then we'll come back to the show. We'll close it out. We'll hear what's going on with Jessica and her upcoming shows. I'll show you her channel. So hold on one second, guys. We'll be with you in a second. At Fusion Body Studio, we fuse spiritual awakening with physical training to unlock the strongest, clearest, most energized version of you. This isn't another workout program. This is a transformation system. Every class activates prana, your life force. Every movement ignites forska, your inner power. And you can feel results in your body and your energy within days. No more waiting for motivation. No more searching outside of yourself. Your body is the gateway. Your breath is the ignition. Your power is already inside of you. We just help you unleash it. Click the link below in the description box and join Fusion Body Studio today. Your awakening starts the moment you hit play. Oh, and don't forget to use discount code BRICE20, BRICE20 at checkout to get 20% off your first 6 months with us. And now back to the show. All right, guys, we'd love to have you. We're going to get Jessica on there as well. 20% off your first 6 months with already low prices. But Jessica, I would like to show, in case my viewers have been living under a rock, I would like to show them your awesome channel, the Cryptid Huntress, you guys. I talk about you. It's so funny, Jessica. I talk about you all the time to my friends. I'm like, I have this friend who hunts Bigfoot. And I was like, and she's so fabulous because she'll post her pictures out in the woods with all these scaredy cat men. And she's like, her lips
they're not as scaredy cats. They're probably watching right now. I sent the link out, Brice.
Guys, we know you're brave.
I was just sending another link out to one of my teammates. I was like, I'm live right now.
We know you're brave.
We just think you're not a scaredy cat.
We just think Jessica's a little bit braver. We think she's just a little bit braver.
Oh my gosh.
Jessica has pushed a human being out of her body. Right?
Oh, like, yes. Well, I do have a child. Yes.
A little tougher, a little braver.
I was like, what are you talking about?
A little tougher, a little. But I'm always talking about you, Jessica, because I'm like, she's so funny. I'm like, she has got this incredible job where she goes out and she researches these cryptid creatures, specifically Bigfoot, Dogman. I was like, I've gone with her. I've filmed you at one of your presentations. And I'm like, it's amazing to hear people's story. And I was like, and she's got her lipstick on. I'm like, she's such a Southern belle. She's got that lipstick on right there, out there hunting that Bigfoot. And so you guys, if you are really interested in everything we spoke about today with Jessica, which of course we're going to get Jessica back on, please make sure you are subscribed to her channel. And when's your next live, Jessica? What shows do you have coming up?
Tomorrow, I have one. I have shows on Monday and Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Those are my daytime shows. Thursday night, I have an 8 p.m. show. That's my remote viewing show. And then every Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, I do a show called On the Hunt, where I bring in cryptid field researchers and all that. I'm going to have part of my team here this coming Saturday. And yeah, and that's always fun. It's a boots on the ground approach to cryptid research and stuff. So, and people's experiences. But but my next show is tomorrow at 1 p.m. I believe I have William Nighthawk, the Lakota medicine man that I had mentioned.
Oh, cool.
He's coming on. We're going to be talking about fallen angels tomorrow, like real celebrity doppelgangers, which are actually fallen angels potentially.
I cannot. When is that?
Tomorrow at 1 p.m.
I've got a show at 1 as well, but I'm going to definitely go back and do the replay, which is what's great about YouTube, you guys, is you can do the replay, because that I would love for you, actually, if I'm going to be selfish for a second, Jessica, I would love for you to come back to my channel at some point in the future and talk about that too, because that is wildly fascinating when you see those doppelgangers of some of these celebrities.
Brice, I cover it so often. Like, my phone is full of pictures. Like, my storage keeps running out from all the screenshots I take of celebrity doppelgangers. And you know, there's that one guy, his name's Tyler Hansen, the fittest flat earther. Look him up. He does the best job. Some of his stuff I don't know. I'm not so sure about. But most of his side-by-side comparisons, like, he takes faces and he does the symmetry of like one person and the other, and he puts them together. It will blow your mind at all of these recycled celebrities that we have, even dating back centuries, who are famous today.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you can't explain it. It is inexplainable. It is, there's so much about our as one of our viewers, Todd 8709 said, nothing is as it seems. Nothing is as it seems. And so I'm excited about that, guys. Make sure that you go and subscribe to Jessica. Let us know if you want it for the replay crew in the comment section below on both my channel and Jessica's channel. Let us know if you want us to do any GoPro stuff with Rando Nautica. See what we can find. Just set me
I'll try anything
blood out there and see if I can just bring in some danger. So anyway, you guys, anything else, Jessica, going on that you want anybody to know about before we sign off for the day?
Sure. Hey, if you guys are into Bigfoot and stuff, y'all come see me at some events I'm going to be at. February 21st, I'm going to be at the Western North Carolina Bigfoot Comic-Con. I forgot the name of the town. It may be in Franklin, but I'm not sure. So that's on my website, thecryptidhuntress.com. And the Georgia Bigfoot Conference is going to be in Tiger, Georgia, which is right there beside Clayton, what we were talking about today. And that is, it's right down the road near Lake Burton, actually. But it's going to be in Tiger, and that is going to be March 21st. So y'all come see me at that. It's all on my website, thecryptidhuntress.com.
Thanks for having me. We will keep reminding you guys of that. And Jessica, I'll get you back on there, back on here before then, because we want to get you out there, because you're a real one. We've gone to John Benet Ramsey's grave together. We've done also, you guys. So let us know what you want, because Jessica's always down for it. She's always down for a good time. We've been to see Mahaley Lancaster. Todd was with us there for that. We went to see Mahaley Lancaster. So let us know what other shenanigans. Georgia's a very fascinating state. We got a lot of stuff happening in Georgia. So let us know, you guys. And thank you so much for doing this, Jessica. This was so fascinating.
Thanks, Jessica.
Come on. And yeah, let's do this very, very, very soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
Bye.